See? Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. This gonna be interesting. Why we say the best episodes for last?
Here we go.
We say the best episodes for last. Are you slowly fading us in?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to an audio episode of the Perfectly Balanced Podcast. It's just a panel of brown people having good conversations over here. Uh, I know y'all see the title. I know y'all see the title.
That title is controversial, to say the least.
Yeah. You know what we say the best episodes for last,
But
man.
what you
So
mean by that?
what do I mean?
What do you
Okay.
mean
All
by
right.
that?
Well, let's get right into it. So listen, I think we've said this before, but I want to reiterate. I think that women that have men that don't do anything or anything like that,
Uh huh.
two things happen. One, it can go either way, but I think a lot of women see it as one, either he's boring, or two, other people she thinks that other people don't find him attractive, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then what ends up happening is
Uh huh.
there's some, I don't know if it's resentment or what it is, but there's some, animosity there because now you with the ugly dude, right? And everybody, and nobody is checking for him. Nobody looking at him, and you like,
Uh
man,
huh.
you know.
There's
Now, granted, there are women. Don't get me wrong. There
right.
are women out there that enjoy that. Like, I think I got somebody safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? But how long does that last, right? How long did that last? How long is that?
I think it's multifaceted. That is definitely there is some truth to that.
You
I
interesting?
believe there is some
Are
truth
you
to it.
skipping bad, bro?
You say what?
Hmm.
I'm skipping
You
bad.
was skipping real bad. Yeah. I
Oh
don't know. It might have been me. It says my connection is unstable.
yeah, you were skipping bad.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Go ahead.
But yeah, there is some truth to it. I believe that there's some truth to it, but it's just multifaceted. There's a lot that comes into it, but if you want to focus in on that, that would be a good place to start.
Yeah, I think because, and I say that because I was listening to Quake's House, right,
Yeah.
on Sirius XM, and they were talking about, if you caught, Quake always asking his guests,
Yeah.
controversial questions. If you got caught cheating, uh, you know, what would you do? Or if you caught your significant other cheating, what would you do and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And it popped in my head. I was like, wait a minute. I feel like because the women on the podcast or on the show were saying some crazy stuff, and I was like, and most of them were like, I would stay and try to work it out, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost like it keeps it interesting kind of thing. You know what I mean? If there's no scandal, it's almost like politics.
Oh.
When there's no drama, people don't pay attention, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what goes on in relationships. I think I think that's what happens. Um, and so I feel like when a woman catches a man cheating, of course, don't get me wrong, women get upset about it, like,
Right.
oh my God, he cheated.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the back of their mind, thank you,
What?
that's okay. Uh, I think in the back of their mind, they're like,
Well, okay, and then you have the self sabotaging ones.
yeah,
The self
or
sabotaging.
that accuse you of cheating, that
No.
hey, you ain't did
So
that.
no. Well, you have that, but
Tell me.
what I mean by self sabotaging is like, okay, I need to get myself out of this relationship. So I'm gonna do
Mhm.
everything and anything for him to want to leave.
Delete.
That way, I don't feel like the bad guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I can later on say, you know what, that relationship wasn't good for me anyway. Let me
Hmm.
find a better relationship. The
Yeah.
mental gymnastics that I can't even say that's just a woman thing because guys do it too.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've definitely been uh like early on in my dating years,
Mm-hmm.
where I was the guy to be like, I don't want to be in this relationship no more.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start messing up so that
Mm-hmm.
she can leave me, because I didn't want to be the one to break up
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just I hated that feeling of hurting somebody. So like,
Uh huh.
I'd rather just make you break up with me.
Some women out there are cold, just cold blooded.
Yeah.
They
What
will.
up, Chef?
So I was watching just Pearly Things, and she was she brought up the stats, like the dating stats, just based off of like people dating online and in relationships. And she
Hmm.
was like, yeah, 70% of women tend to break up relationships before their counterparts. Did you get that?
Say it one more time.
I said 70% of the women tend to break up relationships before their male counterparts.
Yeah. I can definitely agree with that. That's I think that's
And
extremely accurate.
I think the people that they were surveying were like dating ages from 18 to like 34,
Hmm.
and that was the model. And I was like, okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean that's like the prime dating years, I guess you could
And
say.
again, like all I keep wanting to tell myself like, hey, when she's spouting out these stats, of course there are outliers that don't do it, and the people that she talks to on her on her show, they quick to say, no, that's not true. That's not true. I don't do that. We're not talking about you.
Not true for you.
We're not talking about you. We're talking
That's not true
about,
for you.
statistics, and we're bringing in data points that
But you know what's interesting?
what
And this is also from just Pearly Things. She said this multiple times. She was like, it's interesting how when someone brings up statistics and straight up facts about women,
uh-huh.
women are automatically defensive. But when it's the other way around and bringing up facts about men, men are more inclined to be like, yeah, okay, well, if that's what the data says,
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
I mean, and again, like, and we're it's not pointing the finger. Like, nobody wants the finger pointed at them when it comes to their sex.
mhm,
Nobody wants to look like the bad guys. But again, understand the
nobody did.
data point, and once you understand that data point, do better for yourself, because then you understand.
Do better, be better.
You got to do better and be better. Don't become a
Facts.
statistic. That's the
And
whole
and
thing.
the goal is to be the outlier.
Yes, that is the
Be
goal.
the outlier. Like, okay, we like even us on here, we generalize a lot of things, but like
Mm,
we understand everybody don't fit into that mold, and that's okay.
yeah.
You don't want to be fitting in that mold because all the molds ain't good.
You know what? There's this one data point that I'm starting to see a lot more, and it's making a lot more sense to me. And on all of these shows that I see, it's always the thoughts being on the show. Uh, men and women,
Yeah.
and it's like I you, I don't think that that's the real population, but it's the vocal majority. The vocal majority are the ones, and the people that they talk to have the same mind frame. I was like, this can't be the same thought process on this subject. That's the same sentiment all the way around. But out of all of those conversations, I'm like, you're asking these these personal questions, you know, to thoughtish activity, you know, men giving their
Opinions.
perspective, yeah, their perspective on something that really doesn't even matter. Like you should be counting them out, which brings up a point I want to talk about later on, and an update on
Or
Mr. Andrew Tate.
oh, well, yeah, we'll get to that later.
We're gonna get to that later.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact of the matter is, I feel like women get bored in relationships, and I think, and see what ends up happening is, and I think this is, I think we got to stop giving women an out and saying that, oh, it's your insecurity showing when you're accusing your man of cheating and da 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 da. I don't think it's insecurity. I think she's trying to spice up the relationship.
Uh huh. You think she's
I think
trying to
that's
spice up the relationship to make it
like
interesting?
to make it interesting, because if nothing's going on, I lose interest.
Okay, all right. I have a jewel to drop here when it comes to
Okay.
toxic relationships, and I've been in a few in my day, and I just never saw for what it was. You still there? Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, all right. I was about to say you were paused and you were just not doing anything.
yeah. No. It froze for a second.
It froze for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
But what actually happened in this relationship that I was in, um, the littlest things that, like, if I didn't pick up the phone on the second ring, there was hell to pay.
Yeah. Trying to keep it interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, I literally hate this person, but I don't know why. I do not know why.
I hate this person.
I hate this person. I hate this person. Like, why is she tripping so bad on me? And I'm like, you know what? I am done. I tell you what, I can't even count on my fingers and toes of how many times we broke up and got back together.
Mm. So that's that toxic.
That's that toxic.
Real toxic.
And again, like it was always trying to be like tit for tat. Like,
well, you did
going,
this.
yeah,
Well, you did this.
yeah, going back and forth, and it's like, you know what? I am done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Honestly, in those situations, man, it's like you feel like you in hell.
Yeah, and another thing is like, um, sometimes I would be thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's PMS. Maybe it's PMS. And I can,
All the time.
yeah, like, no, it wasn't all the time. It was always like 1 or 2 weeks, and when I would like time it on the calendar, I was like, oh yeah, it's that time of the month.
It'd be
And
around the same time.
it'd be around the same time, you know, on point.
Oh, it's the 17th. Here
And,
we
and
go.
you know what? You know, I have a scientific mind, so I would purposely do shit just to see how she would react during,
Just to get the results.
just to get the result and be like, you know what? So there is a prime example.
Right.
Of,
Hey, hate your
What?
mama.
my pen and pad sitting there like, okay, you know what? This is a stress point and a breaking point. Let me just say this. But again, everybody knows.
I can see you now. I can see you like, oh, that was too far. Okay,
That was too far. Okay.
My bad. That's my bad. Hold on. I'm gonna scratch that one out. Don't worry about it. I ain't gonna use that one no more. That was just for research purposes only.
Just for research purposes. But you know, out of all of that stuff, and I knew that she was immature from the get go, and I just stayed in it for
Like
research.
Bianco.
I stayed in it for research purposes, and you know, to learn what not to do. And I'm a better person.
In fact, I just
because
thought about Deion Cole when he do the jokes with the pad. He would,
but you know,
oh my god, that's funny.
and you know what? what's crazy about that, you got to be very, very careful because me and Nita had a conversation about this, and this is how you create stalkers.
Ooh.
This is how you create.
Yo, the
stalkers.
new season of You did just come out too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you got to be super careful on who you decide to mess with.
Mm. Okay. How would that? Hold on, wait. How would that create a stalker?
Huh? How would that create a stalker? Because when you know you're dealing with a crazy person, like from stories that I've heard from people that I've worked with, prior relationships, like they have done some pretty messed up shit in their previous relationships or relationships that they're currently in. Like I've heard some crazy ass shit, and you never really know what a person is capable of when it comes to
I
to
feel
love like that.
It's crazy. Like especially being young.
Yeah.
I feel like all young relationships. Oh shit! Did I freeze up again?
Yeah. Oh, you're back on though.
Uh,
Oh shit.
young relationships
Uh-huh.
are like toxic relationships.
Pretty much like the younger that they are, like it tends, there's this grace period where men and women they just get away with so much when it comes to a relationship. Like let's just say 16 to 23. That doesn't seem like it's a long time, but it is a very long time.
It's
When you're
eternity.
that age, it is eternity. Like you feel like you're on top of the world, like,
Facts.
and you got all the time in the world. And it isn't until like you reach the age of like 25, 26, when 30 is knocking on the door, when you're like, oh snap, you know what?
I need to sit
I
my head
I need
down.
to straighten up and sit my ass down and start thinking about stuff. Start maturing a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. That shit hit different, boy.
Yeah, it definitely does. That 26
You,
hits so different.
yeah, so like when you cross from 25, 24 to 25, you were like, okay, I'm still riding the wave in the middle. Cool,
Yeah.
whatever. 26, you like, shit, I'm on the other side. Okay.
Ah, shit. Ah, shit.
Time to hang it up.
Yep.
Now it's time to go start developing that dad bod and
Yep.
start getting them.
And again,
start saving up on your 401k and all.
yeah,
It's different, man.
that
You
was
start
that was
actually getting
exactly when
responsibilities.
I actually started getting serious about saving up in my TSP and all that stuff. It was 25. 25. When I was 25 years old, I was like, bro,
Like,
if
yo,
I
I'm
would
about
have started,
to die. I can't just be out here.
yeah,
Nothing.
nothing.
I can't leave this place for nothing. I got
And you know what? What's crazy is now that I think about it, that money, I didn't miss it whatsoever at all. There were times where I was like, you know what? I need this extra $200. And
Yeah, when you like early on in the
Early
E's,
on.
the
Man, that
E2s, E3s.
yeah,
Yeah.
that shit hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get this, it be messed up because you get that pay raise
Mm-hmm.
and it's based off percentage.
Right.
So you go from $180 a month
Yep.
to like $260. You be like, whoa, hold on.
Whoa now.
Whoa now. I'm gonna give you a lot now. Okay. And then it's like, bro, it's just, man,
It really messes with you.
the level of responsibility and level of care
Mm-hmm.
kind of tends to peak
Yep.
around that time. So like when you start back into relationship shit, it's like I gotta start taking it serious. I gotta start figuring out, like, is this the person I want to be with? If you with somebody
Mm-hmm.
and you just been with them just because they cool people, like you get some cut every now and again,
Mm-hmm.
like cool. But You get 25, 26, you like,
You stop
you been
stop
here for
wasting your
like
time.
5 years, cuz.
Yeah.
Like, is you going anywhere? No. All right, well, let's go and do this thing. 'Cause you ain't going nowhere. Or you like, nah, I'm still young. I still got it. I'm still out here. Da 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 da.
Yep.
And you do that, cool. But then 30 sneak up on your ass, and you be like, whoa. I don't think I'm as young as I used to be.
Yeah.
That when you start getting up with sound effects, yeah, it's time to. When you start getting, when you start hearing that shit, yeah, go on and hang it up, dog.
Yep. Oh, that's so crazy.
Oh my god. But anyway, listen, I'm talking to my daughter real quick. Listen, there's gonna come a time where some little boy gonna try you, okay? And I might have to mess him up. I might have to, okay? I won't like it, but I'll do it. Keeps me hot on my toes, where I gotta be. You see, you hear what I'm saying?
Look at her looking like her mama. Damn.
You don't care, do you? Yeah, that's you. That's you. Yeah, your mama's supposed to be taking you right now, but you know. You said what?
I said she looked just like her mama.
Yeah. Everybody said she look like me. MJ look like her mama.
MJ looks like you. Yeah.
You do kind of look like it, though, don't it?
Yeah. And it just like when he was really young.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like.
Yeah, but he had his mama down.
Yeah. But now the older that he's getting, I'm like, his facial features are closely.
He's starting to develop.
Yeah.
And he getting older, man. That's just crazy. Yeah. Speaking of your brother, you should go. You should go play with him. Yeah, go play with him. You take that with you? Cool. Bye, I love you. Anyway, but yeah, it's time. It's time to settle down at that age.
Yeah.
But again, when you get to a certain point, it's like you start looking for ways to make things interesting, right? You be with somebody for 5-6 years, and you're like, yo, this is. I mean, I love you. But it's like we doing the same thing. It's Groundhog Day. You know what I mean? Ain't no nothing. You ain't gonna try to fight me every now and again or nothing. Like we just had. Could you imagine being happy all the fucking time in your relationship?
No.
It'd be boring as shit, wouldn't it?
It. I mean, not really. It not really, but it would just get played out.
Yeah, it mean like you always got peace. Come on now. Come on now. Always. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I should come home to a peaceful household.
Right.
But hey, now and again, hey motherfucker, where did you? And then I mean, that's how you know the blood rushing. Get the blood flowing.
You know what? All of those couples that have been in the game for a very, very long time. You do see them blow up on each other secretly, and you know that it's a problem, and it'd be over the simplest shit.
A sip of my goddamn juice.
You was something else. You know that? You was something else.
You was something else. Walk your fat ass inside and get your own juice. Stiffy juice bastard. But facts. Like when you got time, oh man, the little shit. What the fuck? I always go to my shoe and they always got the shoelaces tied. I told you I don't tie my shoelaces. Lucille, I'm sick. Come on now, Lucille. You see the coach? What's his name? Oh my god. He always be doing the BMF spoofs and be cracking me up.
I haven't seen him.
Golly, what's his name? I follow him too. I can't remember his name, but every time I see one of his videos, man, I'm dying laughing. But anyway, it's like when you get to that age and that time in relationship, man, like I
Yeah.
don't even think for real, like after you got like 15 years of marriage and shit,
Uh-huh.
be honest, like almost expect somebody to cheat at that point.
You
Like I
say
was
it
like,
again. What? Say it again one more time.
after 15 years of being with the same person,
Uh-huh.
like I almost expect somebody to like step out a little bit, just because it, and not to like fall in love with somebody else and nothing
See,
like that.
and
But like,
that's a mentality that men of like super high caliber tend to think like. You know what, I would say most men, and I don't know. I would like to know what women's perspective is on this, and
yeah,
but I had to disagree on you. I had to disagree.
why?
Um, if you're in a relationship that long, there would be no temptations. Well, again, the thought would cross their mind, guaranteed. But something of that nature, when you've known a person, and again, like the older that and the longer that men are in a relationship, the stupider that they get. Do you understand?
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
I
I get it, but like,
most
I don't
men
know.
that are content in their relationships, they will, and again, I don't use content as a bad word. It's like they're just satisfied.
Yeah, I mean, and don't
There's
get me
no
wrong. What up,
there's no
Mo?
yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong. I feel like, why stupid? I feel like saying that like it should happen. I'm just saying like,
Yeah.
well, no, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm worried. Like, don't get me wrong. Me and my wife have fun all the time.
Yeah.
Like, love her to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been in a relationship this long. So a part of me worries like, will I get bored with this, or will something like happen to where I'm like, it's not enough, or you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like,
Right.
cause I mean, people change. You know
All
what I
right.
mean? And
So
I've
check
said
this
this to
out.
her before.
Check
Like,
this out, young buck. I'm gonna drop some Kevin Samuels knowledge, and one of these things that he said on his podcast.
okay,
What's love got to do with it? It's got nothing to do with it. So you should not be getting in a relationship, especially long term, if it has anything to do with love, because love fades. What what is the reason of the underlying love is what keeps a relationship together. Like the accountability that you have with that person. And respect has nothing to do with it either. It is a big part, but does the role that your
most
relationship
of my
has,
love ain't fake.
and again, like, but the thing is, love doesn't fade. It transforms into something different. So you can't say that y'all's relationship in the beginning is something totally different. Now the way that you love your partner 10, 15 years ago is totally different from what you do now. So
Facts.
so say for instance, you you're you love the the little zany stuff that she does. Normally, at the very beginning, that would have been that would have irritated you. That would have been a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if she snores, that would have been a no go for you. The longer you're in the
I ain't
relationship,
sleeping with no snorer.
and the longer you're in a relationship, you're like, man, that is like the sexiest shit ever. Look at her. Look at her sleeping, snoring.
Over there sleeping so
She's at
peacefully.
peace. but then you're thinking like, you know what? In those moments, it can't just be me. It can't just be me. Is it?
Yeah, but looked at my wife and been like, "That's some sexy shit." Yo.
Maybe it is just me. Like, hey, she's over there sleeping peacefully. She's getting it in right now. That's wonderful.
I will say,
Uh-huh.
like the quiet. I'll be like, I like this quiet.
Yeah, no.
Dude, I will say that. The quiet.
If it's too quiet, that scares me because that means that somebody's not correct.
Man,
Somebody's
you ain't
not.
got no kids, dog. I'm trying to tell you that shit
Oh,
be so
okay. You're right.
Shit
That
be
that
so
does change things.
Bro, when it's quiet in the house, you be like, oh, listen to this. Just listen. Me and my wife both be like, shh, you hear that? Nothing. It's beautiful. Dog, we've been counting down the days for my kids to go to their grandmother's house. Right? We got 2 days left. Dog, when I tell you, peaceful, just silence. No, hey, stop. No, get out of there.
Oh.
Hey, don't eat that. First
Yeah.
of all, I can't wait for that. That level of just. I almost want to be in the house with no TV on, no nothing. Just sit in the bed and just listen at the silence.
Yep. When you got small children around the house, that's those little small victories definitely play a factor.
We need to switch the Spectrum. I know, and Spectrum did come out here yesterday, gave me a damn good quote. We
Really?
paying way too much for this internet and TV for us not to have 360 coverage.
Right.
I know that.
Yeah, you know what? And what's crazy is whenever it rains hard here, that's when my internet starts acting up. So I'm just starting to think like we just need to switch over to
Appreciate the stars, Mo.
oh snap, Mo, with the stars. I think we just need to switch over to fiber optic.
Yeah, see, that's what I got now, and this shit trash.
What?
It's trash. This fiber is garbage.
Ah.
At least in my area. And the funny thing is, and this could just be the Spectrum salesman, but he was like, everybody in this neighborhood. He showed me the map.
Yeah.
He was like, these are the people that got AT&T, and every single one of them switching to Spectrum because of they're having issues in this area, in this spot. Yeah. I don't know what it is about where I stay at, but it's like a 6 block radius, and AT&T is garbage right here. This is one of the the spot on the map when they do the little Verizon AT&T map, and one of them little white spots with no we in that. That's where we at. But now, like, I feel like, man, after when you got years in, it's like certain things do get better, and a lot does get better. But I feel like
you should not be worried a lot about if the love is gonna fade or not. The bottom line. The bottom line is.
What about the love?
If
I'm worried about like. Go ahead.
If your person is your person, that's what you should be focusing on. It's like, can I stand this mofo
I found my person.
when I'm mad? that is the true test of a relationship. Is like, when I'm mad at this person, do I despise them or am I just mad at that moment? And what do you do to recalibrate yourself? And if it happens, and if every single day, if you are just despise their presence, even with them breathing, then it's not meant to be.
Yeah,
it's not meant to be.
Leave.
Yeah, you need to leave.
Wait. You said even with them breathing. What's the minute?
if you despise, well, I'm just saying for people out there, I've heard people talk about their significant others and be like, I just hate the way that they breathe, and I
I
was
hate
like,
the sound of their breath.
yeah, I and I
What?
was like, bro, you need to get out of there. Like
Yeah,
it's
you
like
you on
do
some
what's
other stuff.
best for you and her. Get out of that relationship.
That's crazy. See, I can't imagine myself getting to that point.
Right.
Like, first of all, me and my wife have too much fun together.
Hmm.
We're too goofy together
Right.
to ever get like. I don't think we'll get bored with each other. I think
Mm-hmm.
it'll just be. We have to find, like most said, we have to find the adventure
Hmm.
daily, right? And I think that's something that you work towards, not just it don't just come naturally.
And not every single day is an adventure. And some people in young couples, they leave their relationships because the flame dies out, and it's not like what it used to be. You're not gonna be on cloud nine the entire time.
Time.
Let's be realistic. No one has that amount of stamina in a relationship. You got
Me, me and my wife, me and my wife be watching shit.
uh-huh.
It'll be a relationship show.
Uh-huh.
Right? Me and my wife be like, that shit gonna fade like 6 months. That shit gonna be over in a year.
Yep.
It ain't, cause
Yep.
all that, all
Facts.
that. So, see, and this is the crazy thing about relationships, especially getting to that high level of relationship when you're talking about marriage and kids and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you first get into it, yeah, it's great. But
Hmm.
like I always, even when me and my wife first got together, I always had it in my mind like this is great now, but
Uh-huh.
right now we're in bliss mode and we need to
Right.
get to reality,
Right.
right? And so like there would be times where it wouldn't be all lovey-dovey and stuff like that, and in those little pockets I could see like, okay, how do we respond to each other in these little pockets? And if it was cool, obviously it worked out.
Right.
But it was like I love how Kai continued the conversation even though you're freezing. Hey, listen,
No.
baby, go ahead and sign up for Spectrum. You don't look. You don't need my approval. Okay, just go and sign up. Look, I understand this is trash, but anyway, it's like you have to get down to reality and see where you fit, how this relationship fits together. Even because I heard someone a long time ago, and it was like, what do you do when what do you do when you no longer like the person,
Hmm.
right? Because you're not always going to like this person,
Right.
right? It's like your
There's going to
kids.
be some
You're
things
not always
that
gonna like your kids.
yeah. There's going to be yeah, and think of it as that. Like um Kevin Samuels put up this one thing. He's like, women have a duty to their man, and the man has a duty to his woman. When you think of it in that aspect, and if you can't perform that duty, then that's when you need to hang it up.
Right.
He said, "Fuck them kids." Like, yeah, that's the sentiment that you have at days. You'd be like, man, fuck them kids.
Hey, I want to know what y'all think about this. What do y'all think about this? So, there was a guy who was talking about, the hierarchy of. I don't stand duty no more. He was talking about the hierarchy of the women in his life, from
Okay.
his children, his wife, his mother, his grandmother, everything like that, right?
Right.
And he said, "My wife comes first, right?" And everybody was like, "Wait a minute, you got a daughter? Your daughter don't come first?" He was like, "Kids leave, bro.
Yeah.
Kids leave the house. Like, what about your mama? You don't live with your mama no more.
Mm-hmm.
You with your wife for life.
Right.
So like, why would she not come first in your life? I was like, damn, that's facts. I gotta rearrange my priorities. Cause like to me, I was like, man, obviously daughter first, and then you know my wife, and then my mama, and then go down like that. Look at her. See this little daredevil right here. Yeah, you see yourself. Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, that's
you.
So what's crazy is that then there's another sentiment of like if you are in Christian values. Yes, it's an archaic thought of view, and it goes a little something like this. You have the man who's in charge of the household. He's accountable to God, right? He is accountable to God.
Okay.
The woman is accountable to the man. The children are accountable to the mother.
Okay.
That's the hierarchy that it goes in the faith. If you're running your household by faith, that's the way that it goes. And then it works downwards. So just as well as it goes up. So the children don't skip the chain of command. They don't go straight to you and you know what, in most cases, yes, you do work as a partnership to solve the issues. But the thing is, everybody comes. You said what? Oh man, you're skipping pretty bad. So everybody comes to you.
Yeah, no, this we switching the spectrum tomorrow.
Yeah. Everybody comes to you for the problem to be solved in the household. You know, yes, the children in perfect theory, they would go to the mother. Like, there's an issue that I'm having at school. I don't know what to do. Mother doesn't have the question. She's like, all right, I'll get back to you. She comes to you. Mm-hmm. So on and so forth.
And it goes like that.
And that's how it goes. And that's the role, the traditional roles that people should take. Again, we're in a new day and age where things have become hybridized. The further and further away that we steer from that model, the worse and worse it seems to get in relationships, and you're starting to see that family structure to break. And that's all like Kevin Samuels and other podcasters in relationships and all these other shows in that talk about relationships. This is all that they're trying to do. They're like, we need to get back to the basics because again, statistics show back in the 1970s, 1960s, we had the same issues that were going on in black families, black and brown families. You know, you had systemic racism that was worse, but the family dynamic stayed together through thick and thin. Out of all of it, you can go back one generation and see that live. Your grandparents stayed together 30 plus years.
70 years.
Yes, and they were in it, but they witnessed all of these hardships and they stayed together. Again, life is much easier now, and relationships are not staying stable. What's changed? And it's everything. Like it's just a combined issues from the social economic standard, the incentives for breaking up the household, the incentives of, hey, women need to be more independent, men need to be in more relationships to have whatever it is that they want. The whole thought process is all messed up. We're all messed up.
I just want to know what's the end game to this.
What is
right? Like what's the so okay, the government is breaking up the family, right?
If okay,
Systematically breaking up the family.
if you believe that, if you believe that the government is wants to systematically break up the family household, yes, you do need to think about what the end game is, and in what the end game is in that thought process is ultimate control of your household, to where you have to depend on the government for every little thing. He is the father of the household. Whether you're a single father, single mother, whatever,
But see,
they
here's
do
the,
not
the
want they do not want commingling of a household, because that is very, very powerful. Again, in the 1960s, we'll use this all over again. The family dynamic was, black people were freed, right? They were freed, and they were moved to places like Tulsa. Like, the land was barren. They didn't know what was going on out there. It was like, all right, take this piece of shit land, and
bingo.
there you go. The government has to do this. We have to let y'all free. And it was a setup from the beginning. And again, families stayed together. They depended on their neighbors. Their neighbors did the same thing, and then you had a community, a hood, and y'all got shit done. In that small community, the community and the other neighborhoods thrived without government support. When the government saw that places like this were thriving without outside assistance, they had to burn that shit down. Because if it can be replicated somewhere else, what use would the government need? And so I am all about less government constriction on everything. So the less money that you take from the government, the less taxes you pay. In theory, if you can, if just let's just say for example, um, you still there, Rob, or am I talking to myself?
Yep.
Okay, all right, all right. If in theory you had a business yourself, in your neighborhood, that could take care of the pavements, your neighbor had a way to check out the um, or take care of the sewers, water, light, electricity. You had all of that within your neighborhood. You would be self-sustainable, right? There would be no need for taxes, because you would pay that person directly to take care of the services that you need, that your taxes take care of.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the state or the city, okay, so if the road needs paving, that is within the city's jurisdiction, and by default, and this is a couple things I learned in real estate class. By default, wherever you live, whatever municipality that you live in, the state, that's under state control. Like, you cannot do anything without say so of the state. Like, yeah, you can go into and do projects, or project can be funded by your local development and pay for it themselves, and that's less for the state to do. But again, they can't increase your taxes, because uh, they need just cause for increasing your property tax. Like, if there's a new school being built, the state will pay for, uh, just for number six, they'll pay for 50% of it. That means in that local area, in that district, everyone else will pay their fair share to make up the difference to build that school. That's how property taxes work.
Yeah, because I got hit with some crazy shit
Bro,
this year.
it's insane, like how, like, we're getting taxed out the ass for everything. Everything.
He didn't ask y'all to do that shit.
No, well, and again, like, yes, you didn't physically ask for it, but it's there. And if it went away, what would we do? That's why we need to be a little bit more self reliant especially when it comes to like small neighborhoods. So rural areas around the country have very little government assistance.
Mm-hmm.
So out in the country, they do they're
Because
out of
that's
sight, out of mind,
thing.
and they're doing it on their own with their neighbors. They have
That's what I like.
they have 93 acres. They have no neighbors from for acres and acres. Their next door neighbor, like, wouldn't know if they were alive at all. It's a 10-minute drive to go see your neighbor, but they work it out together. And so I was like, man, this is insane. The mentality that people in Georgia have. We talked a lot about how Georgia's the state of Georgia, how their real estate laws are very similar to Florida. That's why you can practice real estate in Georgia and Florida because their laws are very similar. People with larger than 10 acres of land, they can section out their portion of land if there's a developer that wants to develop it, and they get a cut of the profits and don't have to pay any other property tax. But yeah, there's a lot of ins and outs when it comes to owning property. But if you're a part of that 10% club, the 10% club is if you're over 10% disabled, whether you're military, if you're just old, any type of government work, you don't pay property tax. You don't pay a property tax, or you get an incentive, so you get like $5,000. What?
Time out.
Yeah.
You said over 10% we don't pay property tax.
So in certain states, there is a number.
Is Georgia one of them?
Georgia, I think you get a $5,000 stipend. Like you get up to $5,000 to write off on your property tax. Like if you're, let's just say your property tax is $5,001. You don't pay $5,000. You only have to pay $1 of property tax if you're over 10%. So in Florida, that's how it is. You have to be over 10%, and then it's 100%. If you're 100% disabled, you don't pay any property tax. Like it don't matter how much it is, you don't pay any whatsoever. So I'll get back.
I want my money back.
I'll get to you. I'll get back to you on Georgia, but there you the website that you're gonna have to look into is the shoot. I'll get
Don't
back
worry,
to you.
we'll talk offline.
We'll talk offline about that. Yeah, but yeah, for Georgia,
I want my money back.
All I do know is for Florida, it is 10% or more, and you get $5,000. If you're over 60, you get less than you get a tax, or you get a debit of $5,000 or credit of $5,000. So whenever you go to close or go to every year you pay property taxes in November. That's how it is in Florida. It's the same way in Georgia. November you pay property tax for the whole year, and then like all of a sudden you're like, your property tax is not going to be the same as it is the previous year. It's going to go up 3%, and that's the max that's the government can actually raise your property tax year on end. It's going to keep going up every year, but there's a certain point it can only go past. But if you don't pay any property taxes at all, you ain't got shit to worry about. But the biggest thing is a lot of people are catching on to this, and so the government's coming out with more ingenious ways of taxing us.
That's why the egg price is so damn high.
Yeah, and
they're starting to come down though.
Yeah. I heard that they're starting to come down.
Bro, you sent me that video with Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Hey yo, I ain't gonna lie. I looked at you. I'm like, well, I'm damn.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way. But sure enough,
Yep.
sure enough.
property tax, or not property tax, but the egg prices went down.
Yep, plummeted.
But the thing
Thank God.
is okay. We'll talk about this before we go. What really happened behind that is farmers, black farmers, were starting to talk about it a little bit more, and we're like, yo, why are they? We're producing eggs, but we're finding out there's something wrong with the chicken feed. Yes. So Purina was selling messed up chicken feed that were sterilizing the chickens. So
Yes. So the country needs to sue Purina. That's
yo,
what it is.
so and what actually happened? So people started. They were like, you know what? Maybe something is wrong with the chicken feed because all of my chickens they're not producing any eggs. Like what the fuck? Like all of a sudden people stopped using the chicken feed that was bought from Purina. They were doing their own homegrown like super foods or super
Supergirl.
vegetables from and they were just growing their own shit and then the word got passed. You can find this on TikTok as well. So I haven't like researched it, but this is what drove the prices to come back down because people were like spreading the word. They're like, yo, our chickens are being sterilized artificially through the chicken feed. And I was like, yo, that's insane. Again, that's another conspiracy. Uh, I would what would they benefit for doing that? So that's why I'm like kind of skeptical on that. Uh,
That's a little bit more
okay,
believable.
you're gonna once you come back, you, you're gonna have to restate what you just said because it was just
Okay,
completely
okay, you
slowed.
hear me now?
Okay, yeah, you're better.
Yeah, I don't know what's this. Anyway,
Yeah,
what I was saying was, I think that's a little bit more believable as a conspiracy theory
yeah,
because it's like it makes sense. Cause I was wondering, I was like, the chickens ain't going nowhere, did they?
yeah,
They just not hatching shit. They ain't going nowhere. They
yeah,
just the chicken's still here. They just ain't making no eggs.
yeah.
So now this made me want to go sue Purina just for one of the frivolous lawsuits. See what happens. Demand I paid $36 for
Uh-huh.
18 eggs twice. Damn it.
Yeah,
I want my money back.
and
And then damn
and
it.
what's even crazier is that the prices of eggs went up, but the stores and the government were still paying the farmers the same rate.
Really?
Yeah, they were still paying the same rate that before the price cut went in. Some people they were getting paid less. They were
Wow.
they were producing even more eggs, but they were still getting shafted. The stores were making up the money, and I was like, man, this is just another ploy, just like the
Yeah.
oil and gas, like those two gears. A lot of people got hit, and the economy is taking a big hit right now. So why not artificially do something to
Just to make the money
raise the
back.
price of the eggs? Oh shit, we got caught. Let's reverse that shit.
Hurry up, hurry up.
That's why we're seeing the egg price drop so dramatically.
You know what though?
Yeah,
China is genius
yeah,
because they I listen.
yeah.
China knew what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
and they told TikTok to share this shit.
Yep,
And then, then TikTok started sharing it, and of course, everybody in the USA loves TikTok. So
yep.
then it became national news, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody like now the government like, damn it, see, China. It's like they got that spy balloon, but they didn't need no damn balloon.
Yeah,
They had TikTok.
they got TikTok.
That's crazy
China's
though. Like,
already have their surveillance in the U.S.
yeah, dude. Like, come on now.
Come on now.
People be on TikTok more time. I mean, it's ridiculous. TikTok is ridiculous.
Yeah,
So if you really worried about the government and China stealing your information and all that shit, get off
they
TikTok.
have it. They already
They been
have
had
it.
it.
They've been
They
had
been
it.
had it. And ain't shit you can do about it either.
Yep. The only thing that
Well,
she can do.
anyway, that being said,
Oh man, damn. Okay.
What?
I was just gonna go on a rant. I was gonna go on a rant a little bit. I was like, the only thing you can do is live off the grid.
Nah, we got time.
We got time.
That's
Uh,
Nah, but that's it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to say thank you to all of our listeners out there. Everybody tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. I know I'm probably frozen again because the internet is trash, but thank you for listening. Make sure you remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Continue to support us on Facebook while we are at our last stand. And it is official that the 24th, 14 days from today, will be our final episode. So make sure you tune in Friday, February 24th for our farewell episode. It's going to be epic. We're bringing the entire OG crew back to say goodbye to you guys and wish you a farewell. All right, so make sure you tune in for that. I'm going to create an event for it probably. And we're going to do that. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Perfect Balance Podcast, just a panel of brown people having good conversations over here. I'm your host, Big Rob. Who else got enough?
It's me, KG, a.k.a. Dr. Graves, no PhD. You know who we are. We came to drop bars.
Factual information.
On top of that, all of my doomsday preppers out there, y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay tuned because shit's about to get real. It's about to get real. So we might talk about that in the next episode.
Well, I'm back.
All right, you're back. You're back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know we do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We will see you next time, same place. Peace.
Peace. 3, 2, 1.